So, oh, we are recording. Wonderful. So today we're talking about what thing are you ignoring that's killing the growth in your business? And these are small, ignored little breakdowns that can quietly sabotage the growth in your business. If you want to know what those are, stay tuned. In the meantime, subscribe to this channel and share this video so that other people can find us and learn about these topics. We are Nate and Simone, and we talk all things marketing. And we have a couple of guests slash spectators in the room, Rod and John, and we're happy to have them. And let's get started. Hey, Nate.
Hello, hello. For our guests and for the viewers out there, just to reiterate that the the three main topics we talk about a lot on this channel are, being more visible, building a viable business, and building value in your business. So visibility, viability, and value. And that's how we're going to kind of frame this discussion here today. So to start off with, we'll get into what kills your visibility in your business. And this might be up Mr. Rubio's alley since I think he's got a hat that says got marketing. so, um, so one of them may be not tracking your lead sources accurately. If you don't know where your leads are coming from or they're not very accurate, then how are you going to know what efforts are actually, uh, useful? How are you going to know where to invest your time and your energy appropriately, right? That's part of it. Maybe your messaging may be outdated or it just no longer resonates. Maybe some things have shifted in your business. Maybe you have grown as a business owner and you're reaching a different audience. You're trying to reach a different audience. Maybe your target has shifted over time. There's lots of different reasons why that may happen. And so um, letting that, sit on your website or in your ads with, not changing that messaging accordingly to the shift can result in, let's say a mismatch at least, right? in terms of the types of people that are responding to that messaging, right? And then maybe there's you just have a not really any kind of a plan at all necessarily. It's more of a spray and pray approach. Maybe that's the problem that's going on here. You're like one of my favorite phrases is you are committing random acts of marketing. It's like um,
A
so
lot of people do.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think that happens a lot with especially small business owners who are, they do what they do in their business, and they know that they should do marketing, but they're really never clear on what that actually meant. And it's to them, it's whatever is flashy and what people are kind of telling them that they need to be doing. Of course, those people are the selling that thing, right? So they want you to do that, and they tell you that that's the thing you should do. Anyway, so maybe there's also some passivity with your social presence that is creating a lot of noise, but there's not a whole lot of trust going on there. You know, maybe you're just posting stuff just to post stuff, and you're not interacting with the people who are responding to you. Um, that could be a problem as well.
Um,
So,
I want
yeah,
to add
but
one to the list. No consistency in your lead generation
yeah,
activities.
definitely.
I think and it could be because there is a lot of confusion about like what should I be doing? Should I be posting a lot? Should I be on all the platforms or just one? Do I need to be advertising? What do I need to be doing? And I think there's a lot of confusion for a lot of small business owners about like, like you said, I know how to do what I do, but I don't know how to market. And so I'm like listening to the gurus and they're telling me to do this and another one's telling me to do that. And
Yeah.
I'm all confused. I don't know what I should be doing. And so then they end up kind of taking shots in the dark, and there's no consistency.
It's not tied to the overall brand message. There's no real message to begin with in a lot of cases. There's definitely very little intent behind it, other than this is what I did back in the day, and it was fun, so I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I guess,
Right.
but in some cases. All right, so how does that show up in the business? So you're doing marketing, quote unquote, but you're not generating qualified demand. The leads that you're getting are maybe saying yes, but for the wrong reasons, or worse, nothing's happening at all, right? Um, so what can you do instead? One of the things is aligning that message to your current buyer pains. What is it that you do? What do you alleviate in their, what pain are you alleviating in their life? What is it that you do that helps, that they'd be happily part with their money for, right? Um, and focus the content that you're creating on re- relevance to that problem and your audience, rather than trying to go for what they call so-called vanity metrics, the number of impressions and that kind of thing, or reach,
Yeah.
and most important, I think, going along with that, is having systems built around converting that attention, not just collecting it. So it's all well and good to have, 10,000 impressions and people visiting your website, but if they're not converting, what good does it do ultimately? So, all right. And I think the message here, being visible, being more visible in your business, it's not just about, shouting louder necessarily.
Mhm.
It's being strategically seen by the right people in the right way at the right time. I think that's the key there. All
About
right.
having two-way conversations, rather than
Yeah.
just here, I'm making announcements and pronouncements, and everybody should be looking at me and what I'm saying. And it's like, but you don't necessarily know if what you're saying is landing if there's no reaction, no feedback, no nothing.
Yeah. I
So
had this discussion with someone here recently. The one question that everybody has when they come to your website, I asked her, and she says, I don't know, what is it? And I said, what's in it for me? That's the question that everybody has at the back of their mind. And if you can't answer that within like basically 5 seconds, that's pretty much all you have. That's anymore, and they're pretty much going to be gone from that point.
yeah.
So it's important to be able to snag that attention whenever it does come your way, and then have the system that you need to have in place to capture it. So someone comes to your website, they see what it is that you do, and they immediately grasp what you can do for them, what's in it for them. Okay, great. Then what? Okay. um, what is the next step that you want them to take, and is that clear to them? Right. I think that's important. Whatever that may be, whether it's signing up for your newsletter, booking a call, whatever it may be,
Mhm. Grabbing
making
your
it
lead
clear.
magnet, yeah.
Grabbing a lead magnet. It's
Answering a
usually,
survey, something, yeah.
yeah, a quiz, a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, yeah. All right. So where that gets us into viability killers. Um, Leads falling through the cracks. You have inconsistent follow up, or there's your entire nurture system is broken. You have too many manual processes that are depending entirely on, institutional memory, the memory of the owner. Oh, I remember this guy from uh, 30 years ago. I talked to blah blah whatever. Um, there's no real clear sales to delivery handoff. So all of that, put that together, and pretty soon that'll absolutely destroy your momentum, right? Um, so
Absolutely.
how how does that show up? So you may be generating interest, but you're losing the traction, right? Maybe your clients experience confusion. You haven't really fully thought through the process that it takes for getting that person from being just a nobody out there to being a paying customer, and really orchestrating that entire experience for them. I mentioned in our call earlier that if you're not really orchestrating that, if you're not paying attention to that experience that you're providing to the customer, they're already one foot out the door, right? You're just giving them one more reason to not trust you and to look elsewhere. So that's like the last thing that you want to do. Customer experience is like one of the most important, profoundly important things you can do. And I think it really does, in my mind anyway, it does apply to marketing, because marketing
Absolutely.
at its very core, marketing is about sending a message, right? And if you want to make sure that you're sending the right message to the right people at the right time, especially your customers, right? And if they are getting the message that you really don't know what you're doing here, and you haven't really done this before, you're already on shaky ground there, and making them nervous. So having
I
a hand-holding process, right, that ushers them through, that's the key there, I think.
I think it starts before they become customers. If if you are collecting leads, you're meeting people at different events, and you're not following up, or you're not following up right away. Um, you're not being intentional about nurturing that relationship, because you never know who they are. You never know if they are a great connector that can connect you to, your ideal clients. You never know. And if you don't have a system in place for grabbing them as a lead and keeping and starting to build that relationship right away, then it's when they do become a client, how do they know that it's not going to be the same? That
Yeah.
you're gonna forget them and kind of leave them out there in the wilderness to fend for
This is
themselves.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something that may be kind of counterintuitive to some degree, but um, the customer experience actually starts before they're a customer, officially, right?
Mhm.
It starts with that first meeting that you have with them. I mean, that whole process, what does that look like? How long did it, what was it easy for them to get into a meeting with you? That, that is the first experience that they have with you.
First
And
impressions, right?
you only get one chance to make the first impression, right? And so all of that, you know, even before they pay you money, they're paying you with their time, and at
Yeah.
that point. So think about it that way. Um, okay, so what to do here? Having a follow-up rhythm, I think, is important. CRM, so to keep you accountable, to help you stay in touch,
Keep you
setting up.
consistent.
Yes, and
Very,
automations
very
help with
helpful.
that, being consistent. Um, there's so many things that you can automate now that you should never have to worry about doing manually. One of the one of the things I liked about my calendar scheduling tool, for example, I don't have to. You used to have to like go back and forth with people like through email to try to reschedule something. But now you can just reschedule through the links that are in the email that are provided. There's almost all the email services do that now, or excuse me, this calendar scheduling tools do that now. But that is, there's a surprising lot of time there, right?
Yeah, it's a game changer for saving
Yeah,
time. Like
yeah.
I don't have to get a hold of you while you're in another meeting for me to figure out, okay, oh, I can't make it to our meeting in 2 hours. I need to reschedule.
Hmm.
I don't need to get a hold of you to do that. it saves you time, it saves me time. I can see your calendar, I can see when it's open, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it saves time on both sides, time
There
and
there may
headaches.
be there may be some cases where you want to kind of limit that and limit their ability to change that. Maybe if they've paid for your time at that meeting, then that might become a problem. But you know, case by case basis, I'd say on a whole, having that as an option is key. But
Yeah,
yeah, so as far as automations go, what else can be automated? Reminders, calendar reminders, those are
calendar
super
reminders.
useful. Nobody thinks about
Even
them
your
anymore, but they're so useful.
right, your nurture sequences, your nurture follow-ups. When people, Rod will probably see on his phone or on his email that he got an email from me because I put you in my system and you should have gotten an email that says, "Hey, Rod, it was great to meet you at our Learn and Network meeting on Alignable."
Mhm.
And you're going to get a couple other messages from me and an invitation to schedule a one-on-one, simply because it's an automated system that I put in place a while back. And it's in place to just to warm people up when they meet me and to make sure that I follow up with people that I meet in some of these networking meetings that I go to, because I never know who they are. That person might be a perfect strategic partner. They may be a perfect referral partner. They may be my ideal client. I don't know who they are. They might be the perfect person to interview on my YouTube channel. I don't know. But if I don't follow up, I never find out. And so many of us, we have these, and I hear a lot of people say that they're terrible about following up. Well, you don't have to be terrible. You could put an automated system in place, and it doesn't have to be cold or feel like it's impersonal. Um, I love this quote. If if your automated messages sound cold and impersonal, it's because you wrote them that way. The automation is just a delivery. You put the gold on the train and have the train deliver it. Like, if you put coal in on the train, well, coal is what's going to get delivered. But if you put gold on the train, the gold is what's going to be delivered. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
automation doesn't have to be cold. It just needs to be well thought out, well planned ahead of time, and consistent.
Yeah, there's three levels of like message that your clients need or that help move things along smoothly. And one of them is just the basics, like necessary information that you need to communicate. Others like are like the emotional level, right? And another one is, your personality, having some kind of a personality in there, which is kind of related to emotional, but um, thinking those things can help, when you're crafting those messages. What do my clients absolutely need to know right now? And I'll put that in as plain as language as possible, because there ain't no better way to do it, really. But
Right.
if you are trying to, you know, um, convince somebody of something, of the need for the thing that you have for them, right? Then that's where you need to appeal to them emotionally because people make decisions first based on emotion, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I don't
And
care
then they
what
use
you can look
logic to
this up, but
justify it.
yes, logic is justified after the time. But
Yeah.
everyone will tell them that tell themselves and you that they thought this through logically, but that's not the case. So anyway, um, all right. So I think the most important thing here is creating clarity in that journey from being a lead to when you're going to deliver the thing that you do. Um, and one of my favorite things is to have a client onboarding sequence. You know, that sort of wraps them up emotionally in your story, of the brand and of what it is that you're trying to do for them. But then it also gives them pertinent information all along the way. You can
Mhm.
combine several different layers in that sequence. I think it's one of the crucial automation to have in your business. Some of
Yeah,
that, however, you're not going to be able to automate, but pick and choose and figure out what you can.
depending on the business. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
the client needs to know, like, okay, now that I've paid, what's my next step? What's their responsibility? What's your responsibility? All that can be systematized and put into some sort of sequence that helps them
Yeah.
to be clear about what's happening now.
One of my favorite sayings, since I started my entrepreneurial journey, is you better be able to deliver on the promises your marketing has made. And so that is what we're talking about here with viability, right? Having systems in place, having the actual delivery, and being able to, deliver on the goods, right? I think that's important.
Absolutely.
That relates to predictability, consistency, and doing it all without, creating more chaos. We don't need any more of that, right? So,
There's enough chaos out there in the world. We don't need it in our businesses.
yeah. All right. So now we're on to value. How can you kill value in your business? One is when the business depends too much on the founder to function. At some point in the business life cycle stages, the business owner realizes that they can no longer direct everything and do all the things they have to if they want to continue to grow, right? They want to continue that upward uh, slope, then they have to dial back their involvement, delegate, and become more strategic. Allow themselves that headspace to become more strategic. Without it, they're just going to plateau or they fail. Like those basically choices. Or you can also retrace, but you're not going to go up. Okay. Um, and I'm not, this is just facts. If you don't have processes documented, then that means that everything about the business that's important for it to function, it lives in your head. And once you're gone, the business ceases to function. So that's a problem,
Yeah.
right?
I heard somebody say, like, all your head, your mind, or your brain is a terrible place to store very important information. So if it is
It is.
very important
Yeah.
to your business, it should be documented so that not only you can access it later, but then other people on your team can access it.
And
Um,
all those firefighting sessions that you're having with your team, if you have a team, it's probably because you haven't empowered them with decision making by documenting things. So they have to come to you because you're the only one that knows how to do it, right? And meanwhile, that's driving you crazy because it's taking up all your time. Okay, it's a vicious cycle here, you see,
yeah.
and so getting
And
that
this is
getting
how,
that taken care of.
yeah, this is how you create a job for yourself rather than a business that is,
Yeah.
that runs on systems that
Yeah.
don't necessarily need you there to be working in it 24/7 in order
Yeah.
for things to function properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, if you another valuation killer, if you don't have any way to measure or any metrics around the client life cycle. In other words, you don't know how many clients live in that lead stage and for how long necessarily. You don't know how many people are in that prospecting stage. You maybe not even know how many different stages you have, because you haven't really properly probably thought through the pipeline. So in that case, then um, without that kind of information, the business is not as valuable because somebody can't just walk into the business and say and look at it and say, "Oh, you have all this in your pipeline." Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pay you this much more, right, for that information, because that means that that's less that they have to do when they buy the business from you, right? It's already in place. The pipeline is there, you know, less work, turnkey operation in that case.
Mhm.
If everything, another evaluation, if everything feels custom, even when it shouldn't. So there's too much like hands-on, all right? Too much in the weeds, um, and it's not repeatable. That's a problem.
Yeah, not enough
Process
set
oriented.
processes and repeatable. I was working with a lady who I'm still working with her, who thinks this way. And for her, it's all about what they want and not how she wants it to run. Well, what if they want to
Oh,
give this as a deposit instead of that? And I'm thinking, well, then they don't get what they want. Tell them to go back, save up more, and then come and make a
yeah,
deposit. Like this is your have a set process of how you want this to go.
yeah.
Um, but what if
In
they
that
do? What
case,
if they cancel then and not can set up a policy for what's your cancellation policy? When can they cancel?
yeah,
And when you know, and if they cancel outside of your policy, are there penalties? You get to decide that. So yeah, don't
yeah.
make it custom for everybody. Then you can't set processes in your business. You're just all over the place, depending on who walks in the door. And
There,
that's not
there's
sustainable.
there's a marketer slash business maven that I am partial to. Her name is Cody Sanchez. I don't know if you're familiar
Mhm.
with her.
Yeah.
She's all about the contrarian business model, right? Contrarian thinking. She's really into boring businesses. She buys up like laundromats and things like that, right? That you can easily make it several $100,000 a year and have extremely low maintenance and input from the owner. But her thing is, what she says is, if you do a thing 3 times, that gets documented,
Yeah.
right? That's her rule of thumb, her measurement. So maybe
It makes sense.
yeah.
'Cause it's like, okay,
Um,
obviously, if I've done this 3 times, this is something that I'm probably going to be I need to repeat more times. So
yeah.
yeah, it
In
should be
in
written
the
down,
case
should be
of
documented.
of what you were saying with your client, well, what if
Mhm.
they want this? What if they want that? How many people are wanting it that way? If you got three
And that's
people wanting
another
it that
thing
way,
too.
okay,
It could be
you know,
it's one person here and one person there, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
what is your process? What do you want?
You can't be
This
all
is your
things to all
business
people,
after all.
you know.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
you can't just like we're not making these aren't like custom whatever. She's trying to get a group of people together
Hmm.
for a
Even
package, and you have
uh,
a group and one person wants to go off here and do this and one person's you it's not sustainable
even
and
if it's
it drives her nuts.
yeah, even if the product or the output is customized, the process around it is
It'd
is
be
not.
standardized.
It's
Absolutely.
standardized. It's
Yeah,
systematized.
standardize the process.
There's only one aspect that's going to be custom, and everybody knows that. So,
Mhm.
um,
You can have your burger with pickles. No,
what was it?
but we're not doing cucumbers and mushrooms and all the rest,
Yeah,
right?
unless it's at Burger King where you can have it your way, as they say.
But you can
But
have it your way. But
I
even
think
at Burger King, there are a standard set of ingredients that you can have,
right,
right?
yeah,
You can
it's like
customize within this set of
yeah,
ingredients,
it's what Henry Ford said. You can have any car and any your car in any color as long as it's black.
as long as it's black. I love that.
Yeah. All right. All right. So how does this show up? You can't step away for more than a few days. What is it? The 2 week test. If ask yourself and try it out. Can you take off 2 weeks without everything falling apart completely in the business? If
Mhm.
not, you need to fix something. Um, if you feel like you're growing, but it feels fragile, like everything could just fall apart at once, then that's a problem, right? So what can you do instead? What we've just been talking about, systematizing things, systematizing the delivery, making it predictable, creating systems, processes around it, having an onboarding process, setting the expectations with the customer. I have a list of expectations. Basically, I don't know, it's not really like a contract, but it's just a written declaration of expectations, we'll call it. This is what I
I
expect from
love
you.
that.
This
These
is
are
what you
your
can
client's
expect from
bill of
me.
rights. This is what you
Yeah.
can expect. This is what I can expect. Thank you. Oh, this is
Yeah.
how we're going to work together.
And all of that is part of client management and managing your clients properly. Setting the pace, the rhythm, the expectations, and you are the one who's driving this truck. You're the one who's in control. Um, Start tracking your customer lifetime value. How many customers churn? What is the churn rate that you have? How often are they churning? Why are they churning? Um, what happens when you somehow miraculously manage to hold on to clients for longer? What was it that changed in that case? Do you mentioned package offerings earlier. Well, that could be a way to reduce complexity. Throw everything into
Absolutely.
and say, this is the package that you're getting. The devil's in the details. I'll take care of that, like, but focus on the transformation that you're providing and the deliverables, and then everything else is up to you in that case. So the important message here, value is not necessarily about the sale price, what you're setting the price at. It can also be about how durable and transferable your business is overall, right? Having that long-term vision for the day when you want to sell it, pass it on, whatever you want to do with it.
Retire on your yacht in the Mediterranean.
Exactly.
Who's going to be
Go live
running
in
the
a grass
business then?
skirt on an island somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In order for that to happen, for that grand vision, your business has to be transferable.
Yep. And I've talked to people that sell businesses. Hey, I've asked them, several of them, do you think that it is valuable to have these data, these numbers in a business? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Um, it does make it multiples more valuable because it means less work on their end. It means that they can show in numbers, prove the actual value of the business rather than, just being something that the part of the problem here is that the business owner often, very often, usually even thinks that their business.
Heart and
Yeah,
soul into
yeah,
it. They
yeah,
spent countless nights up worrying about it and working on it, and they
right,
built it from scratch with their blood, sweat, and tears. And for them, it's worth their lives
right.
ultimately. But to somebody who wants to buy it,
The banks and the people looking to buy it, that doesn't
to
mean
them it's not
anything.
worth anything. If it
Unfortunately,
depends all on
yeah,
the owner and there's no numbers, there's no systems in place, no processes.
yeah. Unless there's
Yeah.
something, that you can have to show for it, right? And you're making their life easier as the buyer, eh, you know. So, um, and by the way, going along with that, many business owners start too late, at least 3 years. Anyway, so all right. So let's do a recap here. My stomach's growling. Speaking of Burger King. All right. So growth killers are rarely loud. They're silent. They're subtle, and they're systemic. They're the little things that happen inside the business that death by a thousand cuts. Visibility issues are involve unclear positioning and wasting attention that you may be gaining. So if it's not clear where you stand in relation to other providers in the market, if your client is not clear, then where are you exactly, right? Viability. If you are, this is so funny. I had to throw this in here as there's a restaurant that opened up here not too long ago, close to me, And I kid you not, the name of the restaurant was Chaotic Foods.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, you'd
yeah.
hope that their kitchen isn't chaotic.
And
Maybe
I'm
that's just
exactly
a
like
branding.
that is not what you really want to communicate to a client, especially
Yeah.
someone's coming to eat at your place, right? That's not
It's
good.
like all people who are like picky about their food, stay away from this place.
Yeah, yeah. Why would I want to go there, right? Um, I'm not looking for chaos when I go to eat. But
Right?
nobody really is looking for chaos in anything, right? So this is, avoiding that chaotic delivery in the business. Very important.
Mhm.
And avoiding having poor follow-up, right? Get that follow-up nailed down. Value problems. If your operations are fragile, you feel like you're starting to grow, but you're like, oh gosh, I gotta slow this down because wheels are coming off a little bit, right? A lot of that's probably because so much depends on you, right? You haven't delegated properly as the business owner. Um, okay, so what to do? Take the growth ceiling assessment. The link is in the description. That will help you uncover what may be going on, what may be killing your momentum right now. Subscribe to the podcast. Share the episode with someone. Simone usually says this, whose business is fine but stuck. Feel free to share this episode, please. And there's always the option to book a growth strategy call too if you're ready to fix your the foundation in your business. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And we're not like regular marketers that's just going to recommend you do something. We're going to actually
Re-
look at your business first
regular
and see where
marketers.
you
Yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah,
not the regular
yeah.
guys. Anywho, thank you for watching and for being with us today. And yeah, like Nate said, share this. And if you learned something, put it in the comments. Let us know. We'll see you next time. Awesome. We are off of YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, feel free, come off mute and share.